here's Brody Brazil.
I love all the questions and comments and contributions to this YouTube channel, so keep them coming at 1-833-4-BRODY. I listen to them all. Unfortunately, I cannot use every single one, but I do play back and respond to the very best ones, like here on future videos.
What's up, Brody? It is Mike again from Minneapolis. On the road for a few hours today. Got a few things on my mind. I've been hearing a lot of complaints about Tom Brady and the juxtaposition of him being a broadcaster and also a minority owner.
Right.
Apparently, he let his tongue flap a little bit too much, saying that he talks to Chip Kelly about film and football 2 to 3 times a week. Now, as a broadcaster, you're given information from defensive coordinators, sometimes offensive coordinators of each team, telling you stuff to look for.
That's true.
Am I the only one that thinks this is a massive conflict of interest?
No.
And people got to stop either, one, giving him information, or two, he can't be talking to Chip Kelly 2 to 3 times a week. Would love to hear what you think, Brody. And, like, I've heard this said, why can't, say, the Cowboys call Troy Aikman and say, hey, we'll give you $500,000 of ownership if you give us insider information every week. Seems a little bit sketchy. Brody, would love to hear what you think. Big fan. Appreciate it.
Mike, thank you. Safe driving there as you call in from the road. How you feel is how a lot of people have been feeling in this last week. They saw on Monday Night Football Tom Brady in the coach's booth, like he is a 5% owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. He also is part of the lead broadcast team for the NFL on Fox. And when you're on that broadcast team, you are privy to information about upcoming games. You do get exclusive access with head coaches, with coordinators, all that stuff, so you can better prepare to call the football game. I totally understand what people saw. I totally understand how people feel. You're not exactly wrong, but there are some more levels deeper to this conundrum than I think most people are even aware of. So the league has already come out to say they don't have a problem with this. This does not break or violate any rules that Tom Brady is in a coach's booth and he's talking to Chip Kelly 3 times a week, and he's actually on headsets during the game as 5% owner of the Raiders, and he's also calling games on Sundays, but getting advance information on the Thursday and Friday practice days from coaching staffs across the league. So the NFL says, as far as they're concerned, it's okay. But how are football people going to feel about this as time presses on? And maybe if one team has a bad experience, like they had a chat with Tom Brady in a pregame broadcast production meeting, and then 2 weeks later, that team is playing against the Raiders, and that game doesn't go so well. So this is something to watch and how people feel about it and how it plays out. Just because the league said it's fine for now, that only means it gets to continue and they can't put a hard stop to it. But that would also be hard for the league to put a hard stop to this with one of their owners. They unanimously approved Tom Brady to be a 5% owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. But let me also go back to these broadcast production meetings. They are so valuable for the announcers, for the crew, for the director of the game, for the producer of the game, because, and I'm going to laugh here because I'm going to relate like a football game to a wrestling match, like a WWE match. Let's hypothetically say that a wrestling match is entirely scripted. Let's pretend that's the case. Wink, wink. They can tell you what's going to happen ahead of time, right, in the match. Now, a sporting event is not like that. You don't know how the back and forth is going to go. But if both teams are kind of showing you a lot of their cards before the game actually happens, then you are privy to a lot of information. You're going to be great on that call, that broadcast of the game, whether you're the play-by-play person, whether you're the analyst, whether you're a camera operator, whether, again, you're a producer who's helping tell the stories. You've got a really deep dive into how that team is doing. And these coaching staffs, like, they typically open the doors, not just of their practice facility, like, here, come on to our campus, our football complex. You're welcome here, but we're going to talk to you in a closed-door meeting. No cameras, no recording this, but we're going to tell you some real information. You got to keep it under your hat until the Sunday broadcast, and then you can kind of weave these things in. Now, coaching staffs are not telling the broadcasters everything. Come on, that's ridiculous. But key information, some things that the general media is absolutely not going to get. All of this is part of the broadcast contracts that the networks have with the league. They earn this access because they pay for this access. So it's extremely valuable even to somebody like Tom Brady, who's been there, done that, done everything in the NFL. But if you don't know what's really going on behind closed doors of a situation, he's only there to guess. So he needs this access and he needs this information too. However, there is one caveat. Tom Brady is not allowed to physically attend any of these production meetings on a week-to-week basis, right? The announcers, the crew, they all fly in midweek. Then they meet with both teams eventually, and then they call the game on Sunday. But Tom Brady cannot go to any one of these practice facilities in the NFL because he's a part owner of the Raiders. He's banned, but he can check in on these meetings virtually. So what's really the ban? I mean, this cuts down on travel for him. It's almost like a good thing. He doesn't have to go everywhere. I guess that means he doesn't get to walk through a locker room. He doesn't get to walk through some executive offices. He doesn't get to, peek around and snoop around. I suppose maybe that's part of this. But he still gets a lot of the information. However, now let's take the other side of this. If I'm making a YouTube video on Tom Brady sharing information with the Raiders and also getting information from other teams, and everybody saw it on Monday Night Football, coaching staffs across the league are well aware that if they tell Tom Brady something, it's not just going in his ears and into the microphone on Fox for the general public to consume. He might be giving extra things back and seeing extra things that he's giving right back to the Raiders. So you gotta, as the gatekeeper of information of respective teams, the teams can stop this. The teams can make this a non-issue. Do you think they're obligated to tell Tom Brady and the Fox crew? In fact, maybe what Fox and all the networks are going to get is a much toned down version of that advanced information, right? So maybe teams across the league are going to say, well, we used to tell them everything or most everything, and now we're just going to say, hey, read the press notes, right? So this may cost Fox, this may cost all the networks some of the great access they've always got. But coaching staffs are going to clamp down on the things they share, and especially if they look ahead and see the Raiders on their schedule. Probably not going to give you as much information. How do I think this looks? Yeah, it's kind of awkward. It's kind of weird. And you know what? Tom Brady is really not afraid to be pushing the boundaries here of football. He's almost pushing them to the limits of, I dare you to say no. And another example is a video I did earlier this week. Tom Brady is part of that flag football league that's going to happen next spring overseas. And I don't know that the league is extremely thrilled to have the Lambs and the Barkleys and the McCaffreys of the world and the Kyle Shanahans as head coaches of this league, to go participate in something where somebody, if exerted to 100%, might get hurt. I hope it's unlikely that there's any injuries in a flag football exhibition, but if they're taking it seriously, then there's not a zero risk factor. There is some risk taken there. So Tom Brady's part of that, which makes the league, I think, feel uncomfortable. Part of broadcasting, which is fine, but broadcasting and being a 5% owner who's in the coach's booth and talking to the coaching staff, that probably makes the league feel uncomfortable to some degree. So hopefully I've covered all of this. I want to minimize what I think people are seeing. It's not as big a deal as you would expect. And even though the league has said it's fine, we'll really see how this plays out over time. And no matter what, to the simple fan who's just seeing what they see and digesting what they can understand, it's kind of not a great look. I do comprehend that part. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. I appreciate that. Helps me, the video, and the channel. And don't forget to subscribe. I want to see you back here next time.